Good Erev Shabbos, Golf Manor Synagogue. On this Erev Shabbos of Parashas Naso, rather than do my typical sharing with you a Dvar Torah Parashas Naso, which there are so many of, I want to complete a thought that I shared last week, Parashas Bamidbar, in the drasha leading into Shavuos. Then at that point, I shared what is a very important concept as we relate to Shavuos, which is kind of the depth of Naso, the Nishma, that it's more than just a simple commitment, but it's putting the commitment ahead of everything else. And even when we don't understand it, even when it's perhaps what we would call unrealistic, allowing ourselves to leave our reasons behind in our acceptance of Hashem and His Torah, and allowing ourselves to be somewhat unrealistic in our pursuits and in our ambitions. And I spoke about the great Rav Nosson Tzvi Finkel of the Mir Yeshiva and how he lived this life of Naso v'Nishma, how he persevered despite so many reasons to accomplish nothing with his life, and yet he became the great Rosh Yeshiva of the Mir, and he built the Mir Yeshiva to the largest yeshiva in the world, servicing thousands and thousands of Bnei Torah, studying day and night, and the remarkable accomplishment that he was able to accomplish despite the fact his lack of a background coming from somewhat of a typical American background, co-ed school in Chicago, not from Rosh Yeshiva stock directly. He wasn't raised by a Rosh Yeshiva, though he was a descendant of Rosh Yeshiva. But nonetheless, he was able to rise to that level. And then as soon as he was appointed Rosh Yeshiva of the Mir, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and he battled it his entire life, but it would not stop him. Something that I wanted to share, but time didn't allow it, was the idea of success and failures. And what I think is so important is that if we are to adopt this approach, if we are to persevere, become Naso v'Nishma Jews, where we dedicate ourselves to Hashem, and no matter what, we do what Hashem wants us to do, even when we have many reasons why it should be difficult, why it should be challenging, why we think we will not be successful. What's important to recognize is that what we view as failure may indeed be success. And for this as well, I turn to Rav Nosson Tzvi Finkel, and I want something that I think is so important. So many people were touched by him in his battle with Parkinson's, in that he would come on many occasions to deliver a speech, to give a shir, and he would get up there, and he was always fighting to control his spasms and his shaking, and in many occasions he was able to speak. But there were also many occasions where he was not able to speak, and I saw this myself in my years in the Mir. And it's known that many of the times he would travel, he would come specifically to address an audience, and he would get up there and he would make an attempt, a second attempt, and a third attempt, and the words just simply would not come out. The Parkinson's disease was too much, and he was not able to control his mouth to be able to express the words. And at a cursory glance, one would view that as a failure. Look, they gathered an entire crowd to hear the Gadol speak, and here he is, standing up in front of everyone, and nothing, not a single word, nothing comes out. No Dvar Torah, no Chidush, no words of inspiration, nothing. But in reality, what I know personally, what was true for myself, and what so many people have shared, is that those were the most impactful speeches they ever heard. Those speeches where he didn't say a word, where they watched this Gadol, the Rosh Yeshiva of the largest yeshiva in the world, stand in front of an audience, get himself up, and not be able to say anything. That was so powerful, so moving. And that failure was indeed a success. It was perhaps his greatest success. So many lives were changed, were moved, were touched, were inspired by his perseverance, by his ability to put Naso before Nishma, to go ahead and do it, to do what Hashem was asking him to do, even though he had so many reasons not to do it. And I think that as we are now in the post-Shavuos, we have to hold on to that inspiration that we got over the Yom Tov of Shavuos. We have to push ourselves to continue. Now is the real challenge. Now is the real work, to live as Naso and Nishma Jews, to take upon ourselves whatever it is that Hashem demands of us, and to continue to grow, to develop, to upgrade our Judaism, to upgrade our Yiddishkeit, our commitment to Hashem and to His Torah, to increase in our Torah study, to increase in our observance of the mitzvahs, our care, to observe the mitzvahs carefully. And there are many times where we're going to fail. We're not going, and when I say fail, I mean, we're not going to produce what we aimed to produce. We're not going to accomplish what we aimed to accomplish. But what we have to recognize is that many of those failures are successes, because we stepped up, we made an effort, we gave it a try, we did it. That itself is a success. And to appreciate that, that just as Rav Naso Tzvi, many of his quote unquote failures were his greatest successes, many of our failures are indeed successes. And as we continue to persevere, to hold that message close to our hearts, and to recognize that we should not be deterred by the fact that we do not necessarily accomplish what we set out to accomplish, as long as we're stepping up, we're making the effort, and we're sincere in our effort. That is what Hashem sees, and that ultimately is what's going to lead us to the ultimate success of the big picture. And in our growth in Yiddishkeit, it has to be constant, it has to be consistent, and it can't be here today, gone tomorrow. We have to take this inspiration of the Yom Tov of Shavuos, of the time, the Zman Matan Torasenu, where we celebrated the receiving of the Torah, and we have to be thinking about it now, and we have to be taking action now. That is how we are able to change in our lives. That is how we're ultimately going to be able to grow. With that, I wanted to wish you a wonderful Shabbos. I want to share with you a few quick announcements. We have some exciting announcements coming up. Our roof is being repaired, Baruch Hashem. It's really exciting. Come and check it out. Come take a look. The two sides of the main sanctuary that were in such poor condition after many, many, many years of service are now finally being repaired. Our parking lot will still be accessible. Only the alleyway between the buildings will not be accessible during work hours next week. But please come and check that out. It's really a small piece of a large initiative, a large push that we are making to update our building and our facilities so that they should last us for another 120 years of service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other announcements, we have a couple of important things to be aware of. This Sunday, we're going to continue on with we're going to have a cleanup and flower planting day from 2 to 4 p.m. Sunday afternoon. So come on down and help us out, organize, put some things away where they belong once and for all, and to clean some things up, to plant some flowers in the yard and really beautify the shul in a significant way, and to have some fun while you're at it. And if you have any gardening gloves or tools, please bring them with you. There will be pizza for volunteers for you to enjoy. So please come, enjoy, and beautify our already beautiful shul, and make it a place of Kiddush Hashem, where we can be proud of our space that we dedicate to davening and to Torah. In other announcements, the Kollel will be on break coming up. Please take a look at the dates for that in the bulletin. I will be away next Shabbos, just for a weekend off, and then I'll be back shortly after that. And then other dates to keep in mind: July 4th, we're planning a barbecue, which will be great fun. So please plan for that. And then July 15, 16, Shabbos Parashas Balak, which is also Shavasa B'Tammuz, an auspicious time. We will be hosting a special guest, Rabbi Tovia Singer, who's really a phenomenal speaker. And his expertise, he's the director and founder of Outreach Judaism, which is about combating Christian missionaries who target Jews and to try to take them away from Torah and take them away from Judaism. And he will share his knowledge and experience with us on that weekend. It's a must to hear him. He's really a world-class speaker, and he's coming to Cincinnati. So please do not miss that opportunity. July 15 and 16. Many more important announcements, many mazel tovs in the community. Mazel tov to Dr. Jonathan Miriam Goldstein and family on the ufuf of their son Avi and his upcoming wedding on Sunday, June 19. We want to wish a mazel tov to Rabbi David and Sarah Brodsky and family on the recent birth of their daughter Viva Leah. They are inviting the community to a kiddush at their home Shabbos morning after davening, 6680 Elbrook Avenue. We also want to wish a mazel tov to Ronnie and Dina Wilhelm and the extended Wilhelm Rosedale family on the birth of a grandson to their children Shalom Meir and Leah Wilhelm. Many more important announcements. Please take a careful look at the bulletin for all of that. I wish you all a wonderful Shabbos.